So we need to talk about The Flash, and this time we're going to be focusing on the official trailer number 2, which was released on April 2023. And again, disclaimer, as of making this video, still the 21st of June, and I have not seen the movie yet. Again, I plan to, just want to get these videos done right, and again, focusing mostly on trailers and iterations of Flashpoint. No interviews or TV spots or anything like that, or reviews, just so there's no bias. And again, this is just my main takeaway from what I've seen in the trailers. Sorry. And again, I apologize when I look down. It's just I'm looking at my notes and I'm just trying to get better at it. But I have notes at least now, so hopefully this goes A to B and this video doesn't repeat itself. But again, really liked the second trailer. Lines that stuck out to me were, again, when Ben Affleck talks to Barry and he tells him that, again, when Batman, I guess, for any of the, I guess another thing is, like I said, it was the Barrys and the Flashes. For any Batmans or anything, I'm going to refer to them as, if there's multiple of them, I'm going to say DCEU or Flashpoint. And then I'm pretty sure that should resolve anything. But again, as we see DCEU Batman tell Barry, these scars we have make us who we are. We're not meant to go back and fix them. Don't let your tragedy define you. And whereas with the Flashpoint Batman, we see that his takeaway is that losing his parents led to him having to fight crime and all that because of the pain he felt, and thinking that if he fought back and tried to save people, he was somehow fixing the past of not being able to save his parents. And then him, I want to say admires that Barry was actually able to go back and save his parents. And even Kara says how he lost both of his parents in one day, which is true because his mother was murdered. Again, we never get confirmation as to how she was murdered. We just know that she was, and I hope they address that at some point, because I know that it's either been a toss-up between the Reverse Flash kills her, or it's just some burglar that decides to kill her. And I just want to know how they're going to do that. And again, we see that Flashpoint Barry has his Flash costume made from a Batman suit. And it's nice also seeing whenever Flashpoint Batman opens his costume cave, I guess we see all the little iterations to his costumes he's had. And then we even get a flashback back to the DCEU where General Zod first attacks, and we see that DCEU Barry there with his little makeshift Flash costume before we see him in the Justice League costume and then this costume, which is nice seeing how he had to home make that one. Again, we don't see a lot of it, but I hope we see more of it in the movie. And what else? Again, just you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Oh, again, just I hope they're not just lines, and that maybe we get a confirmation that the Flashpoint universe somehow ties into the Batman and the Batman Returns. Which again, I know it would be fan service, but after recently seeing them, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be mad if they tied them in together. What else can we talk about? Again, we see more versions of him getting struck by lightning, which just makes me wonder, does he lose his powers at one point? Does he get them back and then lose them again? Does it not work the first time? Because again, in the comics, it doesn't work the first time. And again, in the animated movie, it doesn't. But it's just going to be interesting to see how. And again, we do see that DCEU Barry has his yellow lightning. And we only see him in blue lightning when he's looking, I guess, at his childhood room. And then when he's, I guess, to borrow a term from the DCCW Flash, when he's in Flash time, and he's seeing his mom, and she's like caressing her hand to his face, and that's just, I wonder if that's gonna be their version of him saying goodbye to her. Again, I really hope they at least get a goodbye, like I've said in my previous videos. But again, the main thing that stood out to me was, again, how this time we have two Flashes, well, two Barry Allens and two Flashes, and how it's going to be interesting how they make that work, because as we see in one of the scenes in the trailer, we have DCU Barry telling Flashpoint Barry that no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to save everyone. And well, to fix this, to be more accurate. And then Flashpoint Barry says that nobody dies. And that's going to be interesting because, again, what they're referring to, are they referring to a simple attack? Or just like in the comic and animated movie, is there a point where they realize that this could mean the destruction of the whole, of maybe a city or even more, the whole planet? And it's going to be interesting, I say, because, again, the DCU Barry just wants to realize that he has to fix it, and that he has to go back in time and stop himself from saving his mom. And he's only lived in this timeline just maybe, again, he's maybe only lived in Flashpoint maybe a day or a week or however long they make it in the movie. Whereas the Flashpoint Barry, he's actually lived his whole life and unaware that this was just an alternate timeline. So him wanting to say that nobody dies just is going to make it interesting, because it feels like there is a conflict in the movie. Because again, once our DCU Barry goes back and changes everything, it'll be like Flashpoint never happened, and that this timeline's erased completely. And I feel Flashpoint's Barry is going to realize that, and is going to want to stop him, or at the very least try and make him understand that he might be saving his timeline, but he's also ruining another now. And we never got that in any of the iterations, because again, in the animated movie and the comic, the only interaction we have with the Flashpoint variant is Thomas Wayne, and he just wants Barry to fix it so his son can live even if he has to die. Whereas this Flashpoint Barry, again, lived his whole life in a universe he thought was his own, and he even had his mother and dad with him. Which is, again, going to be interesting to see how they handle. Because, again, if they do it right, I will feel it. Because, again, they're going to have to do it like with, again, referring to another movie, I guess, Civil War, where we understand both Captain America and Iron Man sides of the conflict. And you're switching between back and forth. Because, again, I'm a Captain America guy, but I understood Iron Man's side to it. So this time it's going to be, we have to understand the DCEU Barry's decision to make Flashpoint and then go back and fix everything, and then Flashpoint's Barry realizing that if that happens, his timeline won't exist anymore. So again, I really hope they handle it well, because maybe just another thought. We got General Zod in there, but what if General Zod isn't the main villain in the movie? What if it's, again, we never get confirmation of a reverse Flash in the DCEU, so maybe this time it's going to be a Barry versus Barry situation. A Flash versus a Flash. So again, we'll see what happens. And I guess another thing to add is that it's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because this is going to be Bruce Wayne in the Flashpoint timeline instead of Thomas Wayne, how it was in the comics and the animated movie. So we'll see how that turns out. But I guess that's it for this video. We'll talk a bit again in the next video where we talk about the Trailers 3. And until then, just remember, no spoiler comments or anything until I come out with my spoiler review of The Flash. But until then, we'll talk in the next video. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.